what's something that you've really noticed um, within our marriage that sort of shifted once kids came into the picture?
Mm, that's a really good question, and I feel like I have to think about it for a little bit. Um, well, I know. I mean, talking about communication again, not to get off track, but
Doesn't
like
matter.
that does also change in a way. Like it helps it increase, hopefully, but like you have a lot more to not just talk about because you're talking about the kids, but like to figure out. And like we're actually I feel like we do that all the time or are currently doing that where we like have to figure out what we're going to do,
Mhm.
like how to raise them well. Like because with kids, like the trouble never ends. Like that sounds like an awful thing to say, but
Yeah.
like the problems and difficulties like are a lot. Like to know how to deal with them and to try to be on the same page with your spouse with those things. Kind of you have to communicate, or like maybe you don't, but then that's kind of hard. That makes it hard. But so I think that's something that's actually we're doing currently and hopefully we'll continue to get better at, but is like talking about how can we, better respond in this situation when our child does this.
Mhm.
We know it's not good for our child. We know that like we're not maybe responding the exact right way. Like what is the best way to deal with this for the child and for us and for everyone involved? And so I think it just increases like yeah, you have to make extra time almost to communicate because you have to figure this stuff out for the good of your kids and for your marriage and like.
Which goes back to the war hero analogy because you are making battle plans on a constant basis.
Yeah.
You're assessing the issue, which usually is a repeating issue.
Right.
The terrorists keep attacking in this one way.
Right.
Not comparing my kids to terrorists. They can be a terror.
Oh my goodness.
So maybe they fit I don't know. But you have to make a battle plan. And if you're a lone wolf out there just trying to do it on your own, and then another parent is
doing a different plan,
doing something completely differently, one, it's not good for the kid.
Right.
Because then they're getting this dueling.
Right. Well, they can learn manipulation really well that way.
Right.
So it's already natural for us humans to manipulate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So they're able to kind of pick and choose like, okay, in this situation, daddy's much more of a pushover than mommy.
Right.
So I'm going to daddy.
Yes.
So there's those factors. And also just to bring it back to the marriage, if we're not on the same page on stuff, it could really sometimes create some animosity within your marriage if you're not on the same page, because maybe in your mind you've already decided what the best parenting tactic is.
Right.
But if you haven't discussed that with your spouse and he or she's not doing it.
Right.
You're kind of like, oh, they're not being a good parent.
Yeah.
And it could really create some really ugly rifts in your marriage.
Yeah.
Where you go to bed and you're not saying anything about it, but you're thinking it.
Right.
And now you have these negative thoughts that are just swimming around in your head about how your spouse is raising the children.
That's
so
that's unhealthy.
Yeah. That's been one of the benefits of us, like you said, lately, really kind of sitting down and saying, okay, here are the things that are reoccurring in our kids. What are we going to do?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do to fix this? What are we going to do to be together?
Right.
On this so that we support each other and the kid looks over your shoulder or my shoulder at the other parent and the other parent's like,
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We on the same page.
It's so true.
So that's really helpful, being on the same page. And like you said, it comes back to communication, making sure that you don't just let situations just kind of sit.
Yeah.
Making sure that you actually address them. And the sooner you address them, the better it's going to be for your marriage.
Right.
Like I said, because then you're sitting on stuff, you're looking at the other person. And, I admit, like, I've done that multiple times. I'm sure you've done that with me because you've had conversations with me about my parenting.
Right.
In a loving way. you know, and that's another thing too. If you are sitting on stuff for a while and maybe you've just kind of let stuff go for a long time, maybe you have harbored these kind of animosities against your spouse for some way that they're parenting your children, you know, when you finally decide to talk about it,
right,
come with love.
Yeah.
Come with a lot of love and a lot of like, hey, I know this is hard.
Right. It's so hard.
Because we all know it's hard. Mm-hmm. Raising children is not easy. Like you said, there's a lot of manipulation from very early on. They don't have to speak yet.
That's true.
You know, all of our kids are speaking now, but even with our youngest, he's not completely fluent yet in his speech. But man, he can manipulate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, coming with love, coming with understanding that we got to figure this out together.
Yeah, you really need to be on each other's team, like
that's it.
Because like just the thought of like, you know, you like harboring like anger at my parenting is devastating almost, you know? And I mean, not devastating, but you're so tired as a parent. You're so tired. So like, if you're not supporting each other, that is really just, that makes it even harder. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you already feel like exhausted in this fight to do a good job parenting your children. And then to know that the other person thinks everything you do is wrong or, you know, whatever. That's an exaggeration, but
or just doesn't understand what you're doing,
right?
Because you haven't talked about it,
right?
That's usually what it comes down to. It's not necessarily like, oh, they're doing this wrong. It's like I don't get what they're doing,
right?
I find that happens a lot, and once we talk about it, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense,
right?
That makes sense,
yeah.
And especially, you know, when you're taking care of kids at different times, like if you're working and one person has the kids and one person, you know, is away, it's hard too. You have to kind of come back and debrief. There are going to be a lot of military analogies tonight.
Yes.
But you need to kind of be like, all right, this happened today. This is what I did. These are the punishments I dealt out.
Right.
You know, these are the things I put in place. Back me in this, you know, making sure the other person understands what you're doing, why you're doing it, so that you can be together.
Right.
That's the goal. Like you said, we're on a team.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? You just watched a clip from one of our Just Breathing podcasts. If you want to see the full version, you just hit the link in the description below. Or if you want to just keep watching clips, we got some more right here. Thanks, everybody.